The Red Devils of Manchester United are surrounded in controversy left, right, and center. We got all the topics surrounding them here for you today. That and much more from your week in sports. This is Point of View. I'm Bobby Munson. Sat beside me, as always, it's that beautiful man right over to my side there. It's Andre 2/3 everyone. See, Andre, how are you doing this morning, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Good weekend, nice relaxing weekend. Going out some wrestling on Friday. Had reviewed that over on Backbreaker Media. That you can find that over on Backbreaker Media right now. But yeah, just relaxed all day Saturday. Ready here this Sunday morning to talk some sports. Watch some F1 yesterday. God, it's
Beautiful.
It's a good week. Saw my Canadians win last night. Everything's coming up roses for me this morning.
Well, it's a good thing because we've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about here today. Some is surrounded in a little bit of controversy. I will give people a heads up that we're not going to try to go too heavy on the political side of the topics that we're going to talk about from Manchester United, but I do have to mention the controversies that are surrounding them and talk about what kind of blemish it does to the team and the public image of the team as a whole and how they need to clean some of this up immediately in order to go forth. Before we start talking about the topics of the day, as always, we want to get your opinions too. It's Point of View. It's your show. Let us know what you want to talk about. Good morning, Zach. Showed up here in the chat. Thank you for being here with us. Appreciate you, my friend. But yes, Andre, let's start the show off. Before we even get into my Manchester United topics, let's give you the floor to let's hear about the race. I know it's fresh on your memory from last night. Let's hear the F1 news right off the hop.
Yeah, so last night we had the debut. Last night / this morning, depending on where you are in the world. I get it. Sunday night for a lot for the English people and the people on the other side of the world. I get it was a Sunday race, but for me it was Saturday night at 9 p.m. and it was a race. I loved it. I had a great time, and we saw Mercedes looking like a just absolute stellar team, along with Ferrari looking like an incredibly stellar team. Like George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, both from Mercedes, are started the race in first and second, and there was so many change-ups for the first overall in this race. Absolutely tremendous. George Russell coming out on top, Kimi Antonelli, his teammate at Mercedes, coming in second, Charles Leclerc from Ferrari in third, and Lewis Hamilton from Ferrari in fourth. Absolutely tremendous. Those two teams dominated the top. Lando Norris coming in fifth, Max Verstappen coming from 19th due to him having a crash during qualification to pull into sixth place is absolutely huge.
Damn.
That is to come up. Don't be wrong, like they started with only 20 cars on the grid due to two cars not even making it to the start in Nico Hulkenberg having electrical failures, and then Oscar Piastri crashing during a practice lap before the formation lap. When everybody was just leaving the pit lane to go kind of get onto the grid, and he ended up crashing in there. So he was out from there. And then you had retirements of Isaac Hadjar from which it was Red Bull Racing. You had retirement of Valerie Bottas from Cadillac, which was kind of sad to see he didn't complete the race. And then you had both Aston Martins out. But Aston Martin did say that due to vibration issues, they didn't think either of their drivers could finish the race. And it happened. Actually, Lance Stroll doing 43 laps before having to retire due to the vibration issues. But Fernando Alonso actually only doing 21 laps in total because he did fit. A little bit sad to see the Cadillac's not doing a little better. But again, not surprising. This team has stated they just want to get through races right now to kind of get their feeding out from under them. But yeah, a lot of great positioning. In seventh, you had Ollie Beerman from Haas in seventh place. Let's go, Haas in seventh place. I love seeing Haas doing well. That is the other American team in F1, and Ollie Beerman is going to be a stud because he is one of Ferrari. He's still technically signed to Ferrari, but he races for Haas, being that he doesn't have a seat at Ferrari. He's signed to Haas right now. Oh, he is so good. And then Arvid Lindblad from the Racing Bulls team, which is Red Bull's second tier team, coming in eighth. Absolutely tremendous debut for Arvid Limit.
Nice.
This is his debut race in F1, and he pulled off an 8th place finish. Even his teammate Liam Lawson, who raced all last year, came in 13th. He beat his teammate, and he beat and again, Isaac Hadjar not making it through the race. But yeah, like, dude, absolutely tremendous to see Arvid Limbat do so well in his debut race. And then rounding out the top 10 was Gabriel Bartoletto for Audi and Pierre Gasly for Alpine, scoring a point. Alpine scoring a point right off the hop. They're not the worst team in the league this year. Right now, they're not the worst team in F1, which is absolutely tremendous. But a great race. A lot of crazy stuff happening, a lot of retirements and do not starts. But again, I really love this race. It was fun. The front of the pack changing as much as it did was just tremendous to have the competition up the front, and hopefully McLaren can get back into this. Hopefully Max Verstappen is more active in this going forward. Just absolutely tremendous to see. Again, you can see it a lot in how with the car changes with the lot now with a 50% combustion and 50% electrical system now. How these cars these drivers are driving these new style of cars. You could see a real big shift in how it's working for everybody now, which is really cool to see because it's creating imbalances in how we looked at F1. And with Mercedes back on top, Ferrari in second, McLaren now in third technically, and Red Bull in fourth, like it's really cool to see how it's shifting out, and I'm really excited to see how this season goes. And Mercedes, with the preseason expectations that this could be the top team, they're showing it. Number 1 and 2, man, 2 people on the podium, number 1 and 2 on the podium this race. It's gonna be a great season, and I'm super excited. Next week they're in China, and I think that one's at like 11 p.m. for me, or 12. So it's gonna be tough to watch that race, but I will watch it because I cannot wait to see the race because I want more of this because this was a great start to the season. I cannot wait for more F1 this season because it's going to be so much fun.
Exciting times. Loving to hear it, man. And the more I keep hearing you talk about it, the more the names are starting to sink in. So I'm starting to get a little bit more of an understanding, not necessarily something that I'll wait until 11 p.m. to go watch or anything like that. It's never been on my side of things, but I love hearing your passion for it. Always do. Love hearing passion for different sports.
Just like I won't get up super early to watch soccer. So,
and again, I totally get it. Totally respect it. At the same time, I know there's a few people who probably want to know what are these controversies, these legal battles, these bans, all these things going on with Manchester United. Well, first off, start that Michael Carrick, interim manager, finally faced his first defeat in midweek. Wednesday, Manchester United took on Newcastle United. Newcastle United even went down to 10 men, and we held them to a 1-1 draw until the dying seconds of injury time when we had a goal scored against us. It was a very devastating night. We end up losing 2-1 to Newcastle, but then again, a lot of the big teams dropping points that week, including, my apologies, Liverpool once again dropping points, Aston Villa dropping points, all these teams that could have really rocked the top 4 as a result of Manchester United dropping points, and we weren't exactly the only ones. So we still remain in third place in the league. Now, that aside, this didn't come without its set of news this week from the Manchester United camp. And we have had all but enough of the controversies, the speculations, the things that have happened with this club lately. And one of the topics that I'm going to talk about here, I'm going to start with this one because this actually dates back quite some time now, and it involves the player Mason Greenwood, who's currently out on loan from Manchester United at Olympique Marseille. Reason being that he is out on loan, and the reason being he hasn't stepped foot on a Manchester United pitch in a very long time, is due to an assault charge against him from his then girlfriend. This had gone through the courts. He was never actually charged of it, and I'm not going to get into the he said, she said portion of this. In fact, you know what? I don't even want those comments in the comment section below. I will turn off the comments if it starts to get into a topic like that, because it is it is a month about women this month, and I'm not going to sit here and get into whether or not it was okay for him to get away with what's happened, or whether or not he did or didn't do what he did. Fact of the matter is, no charges were placed. He is now still playing, and Manchester United, as a board, decided that it was not right for the club to have him continue playing for Manchester United. And while a sale couldn't be met, they were able to get him out on loan for the time being, at least until his contract expires or they have an opportunity to sell him. However, now all of a sudden, because of his turnaround of how good he is playing once again up front, multiple goals, multiple assists, he is a fantastic player. Let's not take that away from this guy, but he is surrounded in controversy. And there is a board member at Manchester United who is thinking to themselves, I've got to now convince the board that we need Mason Greenwood back at Manchester United. Now, this is where it gets dicey because there was a lot of people, especially on the side. And Manchester United, we talk about the men's side of things. There is a women's side of this as well, too. There's a Manchester United women's team. There's a lot of great women who work for Manchester United behind the scenes as well, too. And a lot of them said that they didn't want to be there if Mason Greenwood was allowed to come back to Manchester United because it set the wrong tone, it set the wrong example, and they had every right, and I will stand by it, every right to say those things. Manchester United, I thought, made a great decision in sending Mason Greenwood out on loan until his contract expires or they can sell him. Now that there's someone within the ranks saying, maybe we ought to bring him back, I think sets the wrong tone for this club and something we don't need. This now rolls into controversy number 2 of this coming week. And this one was set a little bit further back, not as far back as what the Mason Greenwood started, but this one started just recently when partial owner of Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, made controversial statements about how immigration within the UK is costing far too much money, which is why the cost of things are so high, including your tickets to see Manchester United, and the fact that he had to lay off half of the employees behind the scenes at Manchester United in order for them to become financially stable. Yes, there has been some financial stability over the last little while, but it has come at a cost, and the comments are so completely uncalled for by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Whether he believes this or not, whether anybody else believes this or not, it doesn't belong being stated by someone who's the owner of a worldwide club that has always promoted immigration because the whole goddamn sport is built on immigration. Yeah. We do trades from across the globe, for fuck's sake. Like, this is what I don't get. It's comments like this where I'm just like, why? You know, like, the immigration happens in every single country, especially sports, and you can attest to that, Andre.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I look at hockey. Like, again, very much a North American based sport. Don't get me wrong, but we have players from all over Europe, all over Asia, throughout the world. Like, again, not so much in South America or Africa, because again, you don't see a lot of hockey players coming out of those countries. But like, we do have a lot from all over Europe and Asia and different places in the world playing hockey, different races. You're seeing, like, well, not to get into it too much of a race, but you're seeing a lot more Black players starting to kind of be into the world of hockey, which is great because it's more people, more diversity in the world of sport, and which you didn't see for a long time because it wasn't really accessible to most people that weren't. You know what I mean? You get what I mean? But it's. Yeah, and F1. Look at all the it's a worldwide drivers. It's like a world of people in that sport. Again, very white. I understand. Lewis Hamilton's one of the only non-white racers in the sport. You get Sergio Perez, who is Mexican, but like, there's very few that aren't. But again, it's a worldwide sport. It is racers coming from all over the world in this sport, and you see it in every sport. Like, or majority of sports is that it's the melting pot of the world. Everybody comes in together to be part of one thing, but it makes up of everything. Like, you look at our countries, you look at everything, like, it's a big part of it all. So
yeah, and that's just it. It's like, you know, again, a lot of the times when these players are even brought in from other countries to, you know, and I'll use Manchester United as an example. We have a lot of people from around the globe playing in Manchester United that aren't homegrown, you know, England-made players. They are from all sorts of ways of life, and they're typically offered 3 to 5 year contracts. A lot of the time, 5 year contracts. Now, imagine somebody comes from another part of the world, moves to Manchester to play for Manchester, and is there for 5 years. Essentially, in that time, they can go through the immigration progress to immigrate to the country. So if the soccer world,
and the
footy
other half
world,
of it,
yeah.
Well, and then that person who is living now in Manchester is now providing to the economy of Manchester, is putting money into things. Yes, probably might be sending money back home to family and their friends back home. That's what a lot of people working in foreign countries do. But it's still paying his rent, paying the taxes that he's making. He's got to pay taxes in the country. He's paying for everything he's doing in that country. So in Manchester, in the country in England, he's doing all that. So he's contributing to the economy. And that's where it's like, so this guy is essentially saying he doesn't want any players that aren't English on his team. Is that what your owner is saying? Essentially,
it's not even what he's saying. That's the stupid part. It's like he's blaming the politicians in England for being too soft on immigration and that costing so much money, to try to give an example as to why the cost of things are so high and why he had to lay off half the staff at Manchester United in order to be able to make budget. Meanwhile, this guy is a known billionaire, along with the Glazer family, known family for being billionaires. These are billionaires trying to tell politicians that they're too soft on immigration, causing the cost of things to be too high for the common person. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the last person I'm going to take advice on any of this from is somebody who's heads so far up their ass they can taste what they've had for breakfast, because they have never known what it's like to be a common person at the same time. And again, then you get to that argument of these players that are there for long periods of time, that immigrate there properly. They become part of your country. They choose to be part of your country because they love it so much. And like Andre said, then they start to spend within that country. They buy things in that country. They contribute to the things that make that country run. So I think it's an ignorant statement by him, something that Manchester United certainly did not need with everything going on with them right now from part of their owner. And the ownership are one reason that there's such a disconnect. The fans want to love this club. We always do. We support it. We're dedicated to it. Doesn't matter what surrounds it. We will fight through it with hope that it will get better. But we've got the Glazer families and Jim Ratcliffe causing enough problems with the ownership. We got ownership that doesn't understand this game properly or understand the needs of what we need in order to make this club tick properly. And all of this, it distracts. It's like a distraction tactic to distract from the fact that this board needs to hightail it the fuck out of there, and we need to get some proper minds within the club running the club. Now, there's still two more things that have come up this week.
Holy crap!
Like, we're not. I'm going back on the old topics now for the this week in topics from Manchester United's very bad weeks. We're going to start with one that a little less of a bad thing. I don't know all the details surrounding it. And then one that we're going to talk about that is really bad. So the first one comes from Manchester United defender Harry Maguire. This actually does date back a little while, back to 2020, when he was on a vacation with his family in Greece, August of 2020. I don't know the details of what exactly happened, but there was apparently some sort of assault or violent action that didn't lead to any. It was a minor assault, or it didn't lead to much kind of thing. But then Harry Maguire was either asked, or I believe he was asked to give a bribe of £50,000 in order to keep this from being criminally charged in Greece, which he refused to pay. There's talk that he refused arrest at the time as well, too. So this has gone to the courts. He was actually found by the Greek courts, found guilty, but is now been, and this was just this week, the charge is found guilty, but he will serve a 15-month suspended sentence. So it means that he won't face jail time. There won't be any fines that have to be paid. It's a suspended sentence, almost like house arrest to a degree, but he's still allowed to travel and play with the team. But if he does do anything further, especially in the country of Greece, if they happen to be in they should hopefully be in Champions League next year. But if they do end up in Greece and Harry Maguire is caught doing, if he so much as throws a pebble towards a river or a lake or something like that and accidentally pings someone in the side of the leg, like, this guy
could end up in prison. Now,
so
his lawyers
there's a chance if they end up in Champions League and they go to Greece that Harry Harry, you're staying home. There's a chance
they could. Yeah, I mean, arguably, right? I mean, the last thing you need is for him to, have somebody, take a swing at him as they're trying to get in the bus or something like that. And, he pushes back to defend himself. And that's all it takes, right? Like, I mean, it's so to the point where it's like anything he does now is going to be under a scope. And I'm not saying, like, again, I don't know the reason that the charge was necessarily laid in the first place or the details behind it. Is he truly guilty? Is he not? His lawyers are going to counter it. They are going to fight this and everything. So there is a chance,
it was just reading, like in 2020, he was officially charged and found guilty of aggravated assault, resisting arrest, attempted bribery. Yeah. But, and then he lodged an appeal in 2020 and was upheld this past week. So yeah.
So that is looming. They can push back against it. They can appeal it, I guess, so to speak. And his lawyers are going to appeal it. And he still remains adamant that he didn't actually do anything wrong. Like, he is not coming forward and saying, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. Let me serve some sort of suspended sentence or anything. He's still fighting this in the belief that what he did was not wrong and that he doesn't deserve to be criminally charged at all. So we will see what that outcome brings. But in the meantime, he is kind of under a microscope, but it also isn't going to affect his chance of being called up for England for the World Cup this coming summer as well either. So there's a very strong opportunity now that he's been playing regularly with Manchester United that he could be called up by Tuchel for the England team going into the World Cup. And this will not stop him and his travel visa from going over here to North America to play on behalf of the England team. So that's where we're at right now with Harry Maguire. Now on to the biggest controversy of all. This coming from the son of former Manchester United midfielder Darren Fletcher. He actually has two sons that are currently playing in Manchester United. They both play in the youth divisions, and their dad is the coach of the under 21s or under 18s or under 21s, one or the other. My apologies if I don't get it right. Let me know in the comment section. But yes, Jack Fletcher was playing in the FA Youth Cup just recently when he made homophobic slurs about one of the players on the opposing team. I won't repeat the exact words.
I read about Fletcher.
Yeah, I won't repeat the exact words that he used. I will allow that to be up to you, the viewers, if you want to go read what was said. But the slur was definitely uncalled for. And I do know in the heat of sports, it's easy to get frustrated, to lose your mind, and to say the wrong thing. However, in this day and age, with everything that has been happening to try to better our world with the way that we approach talking about people in any communities, especially the LGBTQ plus community, that Jack Fletcher would make these comments. Now, the FA has landed him a 6-match ban for his comments. This is one of the higher end bans you can receive as a player when you get, banned in any way. For context, if you get a red card in a game for tackle, 2 yellows or something along those lines, generally a 1-match ban is what you're going to sit out. Now, you can get up to a 3-match ban if you do something that deliberately was kind of violent and you deserve to be sent off with an instant red. It can become up to a 3-match ban. In order to serve a 6-match ban under the FA, you really have to do something that the FA cannot condone. And that was the case here with Jack Fletcher's comments. Now, he's gone out and he's apologized for his actions. But my question to the audience, whether you're watching live right now or you're watching on replay, is do you feel a 6-match ban is enough, knowing what we know these days about how we should respect other humans and the fact that FIFA in general is all about inclusion and trying to push forward with making sure that nobody feels left out in this sport, and the fact that Jack Fletcher at his age, trying to break through to the Manchester United first team squad, the senior squad, do you think that a 6-match ban is enough? I honestly think that this should halter even his consideration for the main squad, and that he should have to work that much harder, and that he should actually not just serve a 6-match ban. I think that those 6-match bans, when the team is playing, he should actually have to go and be part of some sort of community awareness program or something like that, and have to learn
about the consequences of his actions. I think that there should be some sort of session where he goes and sits down with people who have faced these kind of troubles all their life and have to learn properly, listen and learn. And that should be part of this banning. This shouldn't just be a ban, you sit in the stands and watch your team play. This should be a time to teach and allow this player to experience a little bit more about life and why there should be consequences to his actions. I don't feel a straight 6-match ban is enough in this day and age. I feel that there should be some sort of schooling and lessons learned here in order to rehabilitate him so that this doesn't happen ever again.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like the number seems appropriate because of the way you're describing the bans. The number seems appropriate, but yeah, he should be required to be doing something to help better himself because like he's a young man. Like, and again, like I understand that the world ain't perfect, but like I know a lot of younger people growing up now are a lot more cognizant of a lot of this stuff. The fact that he's throwing these things out the way he is really just really weird because again, it's the world we're kind of is coming up is far more cognizant of a lot of these hateful things. And you know what I mean? Like you're not hearing it as much from a younger demographic. So when you do hear it from a younger demographic, you're like, whoa, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's even harder because it was like I didn't grow up I grew up again, I was born in 1987. I grew up in a world where it wasn't appropriate to say these things, but it was still said, and people went, "Oh man, that's not cool." But it wasn't considered a big deal. I know it is, and I think it is, but to a lot of people, it wasn't considered a big deal to say these things in sports and things like that. But now it is, and like this is 20 years later since I was 18 years old when I was growing up. Like this is a very different world we live in. And we need to be very cognizant of that words do hurt people. And like and especially on the platform he's on, it doesn't just hurt the one person. In the platform he's on, it hurts everybody else around it. It hurts the team in their image. It hurts the sport in its image because now the sport looks less tolerant looks less tolerant for certain things. You know what I mean? So and it hurts many people around the world that might look to this guy as a sporting icon or like not an icon, but like, you know what I mean? As like somebody that they look up to. It can really affect like especially young people looking at this guy, and then some younger people and fans will go, "Oh, he did that," and there's some people there that'll be on his side for saying it, which is completely wrong, and some people are going to be vilified to keep acting that way because he did that. That's the messed up part of it all, and it just people need to be very cognizant. And again, I'm not saying if you're not famous, you can say whatever you want, but like, especially when you're that front facing in the world, you got to be very careful with the words you pick. Like when we're on a show like this, I know we're not famous or anything, but we're on a show like this. I'm very cognizant of the words. I'm not saying I'm out there saying stuff like that, like he does, but yeah. I'm cognizant of the words I say so that hopefully nothing I say offends somebody in a truly mean way, right? Like I'll be offensive in quotes at times, right? I'm offended. I hate Philadelphia. We all know that, but I'm not outwardly actually mean about something. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where you got to when you have a you're public facing, you need to watch and understand that everything you say reflects on you and the whatever you work for and everything else. So like, there's a lot of those things.
Yeah, and United is a massive platform. That's the thing. Like, yeah, maybe he plays for the youth league. Maybe he's not. Dude,
I had no idea who this dude was, and I heard about before you shared the article. I saw it,
exactly.
I don't really follow footy that much, and I saw it before you even posted it in our group chat with Ed. Before you posted it there, I had already seen that. So
yeah, and that's where it lies, right? Like, I mean, again, this isn't a lower end team or anything like that. We're talking about a very worldwide national team that people recognize. It's a brand that people recognize, and they need to understand that in order to keep that kind of recognition, they need like you say, use the word cognizant of what their players are saying and everything. And yeah, they can't control everything. When something happens on the pitch, you can't control it, but it's the actions of what they do as well too. This is where they need to step up and do something about it. And this all comes about too with Manchester United right now choosing, like during Pride Month, choosing not to wear the rainbow color bands that a lot of the players do because of Mazraoui on the team being player that comes from a country where they don't support the LGBTQ plus community. And I thought, it's one thing for them to allow Mazraoui not to choose to wear it because it goes against his religion. Not saying that that's necessarily the right choice or anything, but if he chooses not to do something because it is against his religion, and by that I mean just choosing not to wear the rainbow colored flag band during Pride Month, fine, because he's not going publicly and saying these things. He's just asking that he not wear that colors. But the fact that then the team to support him, one player, also doesn't wear them, I think is not the right decision, because I think as a national brand, they need to be able to show these kind of things, the support and the community behind it. Speaking of support and community, we got lots of love from our boy Basser in the house. Hey, handsome dudes. Ooh, handsome. I like that. That feels good on a Sunday. Thanks, Pastor. Appreciate you, my brother.
Because I know I don't look handsome right now, so it makes me feel good. But no, I get you.
I'm always handsome from like the chest up. That's my good side.
I get you on that, because again, like, I can understand due to beliefs and things like that, people not wanting to support something, which I can understand that. I can see from his point. But for a team to rally around the one player and say none of us are going to support LGBTQ community or not publicly wear it because one player doesn't believe in it, that seems wrong. That seems very wrong to me. Like, again, let that player not, and that is understand. If he doesn't want to, I get it. I don't believe that way, but that is his beliefs, and he can choose to believe that because that's his beliefs. But to say, oh, none of us are going to wear it because this one player doesn't believe in it, that's just not. And if I'm one of the other players and I am a supporter of the community, I'm putting that band on and saying, "Fuck you guys!" I'm putting that band on. That's what I mean. Like, I'm disappointed in the players for not saying, "Hey, go fuck yourself." I'm putting the band on.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Or putting on rainbow socks or putting on something that shows their support. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I mean? Like, I'm disappointed in every other player for not telling the team to go F themselves at that point. And I'm a little disappointed.
In fact, you know what? For that matter, it's like you make enough damn money. I'd have custom made rainbow colored cleats and socks. I'd have the whole bottom half very visible on TV if I were out there playing. That's me. I mean, again, I know it's not everybody, but that's my opinion. And yes, because I do support, I would show that support. I don't think that the team should show that support to one guy. I think it's support enough to allow him, because of his religious beliefs, not to have to wear it. But I think that, again, it goes to this. It's like now you see that support for a player like that. And now you see Jack Fletcher, 18 years old, making the statements he's made. How much of that continues before it becomes public knowledge that, oh, in Manchester United just don't support the LGBTQ plus community. And as a fan, it's like, again, you're so dedicated to your team, no matter what happens, what they do, how many shitty players we hire and find out controversies around. You always want to support your club, your team, whatever sport it is, despite that, because there is a lot of good. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good people there. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of things to be excited about, but there is just so much controversy that keeps coming out. And again, in Manchester United, it's even more different because you're higher up in the public spotlight is the problem there. The bigger platform is going to be highlighted more. If you're a low-ended team, these kinds of things, they'll get dealt with. The news won't pick them up. Like, it's really going to get brushed over for the most part.
Yeah, you might get publication in like your local newspaper or something. Like, say like a team that's in like League Two, something like this happens. That's going to get some, like, maybe a write-up on maybe one write-up in a major sports publication and write-ups in their local news area. But that's about it. Manchester United is a worldwide team.
Yeah. And they're less likely to click on it. People are likely to click on it with Manchester United because you either click on it because you're a fan and want to know, or you're not a fan and you want to see them in trouble and sinking kind of thing. So either way, people are clicking that article, whether they love the team or hate the team, because they want to know exactly what went wrong. It's a lot of controversy, a lot of things that are going wrong. On the positive side of Manchester United, we are in third. Let's take the silver lining. There's still a chance for Champions League football, and there's still a lot of people there that deserve to make it into Europe next season. But let's get off those controversies. Let's wipe away the controversies. We've talked about them. We've discussed them. If you're watching on replay, let us know in the chat, but politely let us know, because I said I'll turn the chat comments off if this gets too political. But what are your thoughts on Jack Fletcher and his 6-match ban? Is it enough, or do you feel that more should be done? Going from there, Andre, do you want to hop to your NFL stuff, or should I do the topic I've got from the NHL right now quickly?
Oh, let's talk NHL, because I have some stuff I want to talk about in NHL too. So let's talk your NHL topic, and then I'll talk about some trade stuff.
All right. Did you see Jason Schwartz get kicked in the face by the skate of Nick Cousins recently in a game between Seattle and Ottawa, if I'm not mistaken? It was.
I saw a clip of it, and holy shit, that's scary, because was it a bunch of years back, the goalie that got its throat cut by a skate? So whenever skates come near your face or in that area, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And
it's complete freak accident, right? This isn't intentional. A guy didn't jump up in the air and try to swipe a skate across a dude's neck or anything, but it comes at the result of a hit and the leg flying upwards. And again, he was down on the ice for a few minutes afterwards. There was bleeding that was happening. People were making sure he was attended to, but he did get up under his own power to go back down the tunnel. So that's a good sign that nothing major was hit, because again, especially when you're talking about the neck, there's a lot of those arteries and stuff, vital arteries. All it takes is just one wrong move, and that could have been career ending, life ending. It could have been anything of the sort. So we're glad here on Point of View that he is okay, that he will play another day as well too. But those are the things where you gotta worry a little bit for some of these people when they're going into situations like that. Freak accident, but unfortunately it did happen. And sending our best to him. Hopefully that we don't see anything major like that happen again anytime soon.
Yeah, because that's scary. I saw a clip of it. That's a scary situation, man. Again, it made me think about the goalie that got hit in the throat and was bleeding profusely. He was okay, he survived, but it's scary, man. It's so few parts on their bodies that are unprotected from that, and the fact they got hit in the spot that was unprotected, in an area that's unprotected, is scary as shit.
Do you think that the league should consider making neck guards a mandatory thing, or is this just so one-off freak accident that rarely happens that it's really just a neck guard would become almost pointless thing?
I think neck guards more, and again, I understand it's safety, but it's going to be it'd be a hindrance to players, because you want that range of motion to be able to, you need to be able to look around, and not saying they're going to completely stop the motion, but it does impede. Especially if you want a proper neck guard, that's going to be something solid. So it's going to be hard for people to move their heads and things like that, especially on players. I know goalies all usually wear have those neck guards on now, those hanging ones off their mask and everything. But I think it's more of it. I think it would seriously impede people in the game more than the rarity that it does happen. I think it would be overkill too. If players want to, that's up to them. That's, again, I'm all for protect yourself if you feel you need to protect yourself, but to make it mandatory would almost be overkill, in my opinion.
That's a fair assessment. As always, let us know in the comment section down below your opinions. Should neck guards be introduced, or are they going to be a hindrance to the players? More NHL news, Andre. You said you got some stuff for us.
We got some trades. The trade deadline just passed this weekend. So I'm gonna just chat about some trades over this past week. You had Tyler Myers from the Vancouver Canucks going to the Dallas Stars for a 2027 second round pick and a 2029 fourth round pick.
Have they just conceded that they're the worst team in the league at this point?
Yes, they're essentially just like, give us picks. We want to rebuild.
Yeah.
Huge trade over in the world of the Calgary Flames. Calgary picking up Oli Manta, I think it's prospect Jonathan Castañaga, 2026 three 2026 second round picks for multiple teams from the Utah Mammoth for Mackenzie Weegar. Big pickup for Calgary there, but Weegar going to Utah is a big deal. But like, to get the haul they did, multiple second round picks, like now 3 second round picks for this upcoming draft. That's huge. That is huge. You had Edmonton Oilers finally getting rid of Andrew Mangiapane, sending him to the Chicago Blackhawks with a conditional 2077 first round pick in exchange for Colton Dock and Jason Dickinson, and that Chicago will retain 50% of Dickinson's salary in that deal. So, main deal is Mangiapane is out of Edmonton. That's what matters.
Now he's somebody else's pain in the ass.
Yeah. On the 5th, we also had the Colorado Avalanche getting Nicholas Roy from the Toronto Maple Leafs for a conditional 2027 first round pick and a conditional 2026 fifth round pick. The 2027 first round pick is top 10 protected. If 2026, it will be the lowest of Colorado's 3 fifth round picks. So depending on which pick, it's going to be the lowest of them all. Big trades going on. I got a couple more I wanted to go through. Anaheim Ducks picking up John Carlson from the Washington Capitals for a conditional 2026 first round pick and a third round 2027 pick. Then you also have, there's a couple more I want to talk about. Braden Shen going to the New York Islanders from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for former Montreal Canadian Jonathan Drouin, Marcus Gidloff, a conditional 2026 first round pick and a third round pick from this year. Then you had Justin Falk going to the Detroit Red Wings in exchange going to the St. Louis Blues. You had Justin Hall, Dmitry Belenikov, a first and third round pick for this year. That's, again, another big pickup there. And then the final kind of really big one I want to talk about just popped off yesterday on Friday. Victor Olofsson and Max Curran, along with a 2028 first round and a 2027 second rounder, going to Calgary in exchange, making his return back to Colorado. Nazem Kadri heads back to Colorado. That's awesome. I love seeing him going back there. And along with a 2027 fourth round pick, Calgary will retain 20% of Nazem Kadri's salary. Again, Nazem Kadri heading back to Colorado, I think, is just almost the perfect fit for him. He had his biggest successes in Colorado, and I think going back there to that organization is going to be good for him to really help him kind of move up or continue on with how good he is. So, yeah.
Yeah, massive trades in the world of NHL right now, and we had trades elsewhere in the world. I wanted to mention before we go over to our NFL topic here that the MLB continues to roll along with spring training before the opening of the season. I believe the opening of the season coming up around the end of March here, about the 27th. So I think around Sunday the 22nd, I believe, is the last day for spring training. I know that the Blue Jays have kind of had a back and forth opening to the spring training, but this is the opportunity for players to get out there that have just signed, some of the young players, see what they're up to as well too, in preparations for that season. They have now introduced, I've seen it a few times here now with the calls across the line. Sometimes if you don't necessarily trust the umpire's call, you can now signal for the almost like a VAR check to see if the umpire's call, so you can now challenge it. They've been testing that out.
It's 2 per game?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 2 challenges per game, yeah.
Yeah, they do there's some sort of signal, tap the hat or whatever, where you can choose to challenge the call and then go from there. So interesting to see how that implements throughout, but it has been being used now in spring training so far. So we'll see how that continues to roll through for them. And we did talk about that previous. You can go back to a previous episode of the show to find out a little bit more in depth of that. But have you managed to check out any of the games from spring training yet, Andre?
I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any spring training. I haven't seen any World Baseball Classic. I haven't got to see anything of that. Just been busy. Haven't had a chance to watch. And baseball, I like to watch. It's something I like to put on the background if I'm doing something. It's not. I can kind of sit down. And I just haven't had a chance to put it on the background. So plus, I don't have Sportsnet, so it's a lot harder to watch sports. Or I don't have Sportsnet, so most of my baseball's over there in Canada. So.
Well, you can actually see more of the Blue Jays if you want this afternoon, as they have another game here today as the spring training continues to roll on. But we are getting close to the top of the hour now, Andre. So let's talk about that NFL news and trades. Floor is yours, brother.
So a lot of stuff going on over the last few days in the NFL. Now, with the official start of the new season is March 11th. But teams are making announcements on who they're releasing, and trades can be made already. So on March 4th, the Patriots announced that they did release wide receiver Stephon Diggs. I don't think he's going to get signed right away, being that he is in the middle of some legal issues right now. So I think that's part of the reason why he got dropped. So he's going to be dealing with that. So I don't know if any team's going to risk picking him up right off the bat until his legal issues are farther along than they are. But the other release on March 4th, which makes me happy but makes me nervous as shit for what our future is. Kyler Murray is gone. He is gone from the Cardinals. He was not, the fit just didn't work. He had a good season, then just kind of fell off and has not produced well at all. He was on IR with a foot injury for majority of last season. The team just didn't want to deal with him anymore, so they kept him on IR. We'll see how our quarterback situation goes forward. Bobby Stats in the house.
So, boy, Bobby, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. But yeah, I'm happy and I'm nervous at the same time. I hope Kyler can go somewhere else and succeed on another team, and it won't make me sad that he didn't succeed at my team because the schemes of fit just don't work for him. So just be any team that signs, just be aware. Once Call of Duty releases every year, he completely falls apart after Call of Duty comes out because he's playing that game far too much. That happens every year when Call of Duty comes out. He falls off when he's playing, just falls off. And then on March 5th, the Bills made a huge trade, picking up DJ Moore from the Bears for a 2026 along with a 2026 fifth rounder in exchange for a 2026 second round pick. So a huge pickup. That's a great. Is like Josh Allen didn't have a lot of weapons on his wide receiving core last year. He now has a great weapon in DJ Moore, who I think will pick up a lot more time with the Bills. I think he arguably becomes their number one wide receiver come on this trade. He becomes a number one wide receiver for that team. So it's a huge pickup for the Bills. So DJ Moore there. And then on March 6th, the Raiders have announced that Geno Smith will be released from contract at the end, starting on March 11th. He will unless they can find a trade for him. But who wants to trade for Geno Smith with that that contract that he has? Nobody's going to pay him. So he's going to get released on March 11th, and then he'll sign. Just like Kyler Murray, I think he'll sign a veteran minimum with a team if he goes, because he's still going to be getting a dead cap payout. He's going to be getting a bunch of money from his team anyways. Like there's guaranteed money still owed him, so he'll be getting like what's called veteran minimum. They'll be signing with other teams for that year, and then they can figure out a contract afterwards. But yeah, that's probably what's going to happen with him. But the Raiders, after announcing Geno Smith being released, made a huge move with the Baltimore Ravens in trading away star defensive end Max Crosby. He got out of the hellscape. That is the Raiders and is now part of the Baltimore Ravens, shoring up that defense along with that incredible offense that they have. He is just short. He has just made a huge injection into that defense, and that is huge
Yeah.
for the
Well,
team. And they got two first round picks out of it this year and next year. That is big money for the Raiders, especially going into this offseason. They're looking like they're picking up a quarterback first overall. So they have another shot at a first round player, maybe maybe a defensive player to put in to replace Max Crosby. It's very possible. Again, there's some it's gonna be very interesting.
Well, I was gonna say with some of these moves, like we see some of these moves like big power moves for certain teams that needed that spot, taking a player from a team that maybe that was their better person on the team to begin with, kind of thing, but the rest of the team needs a bit of a rebuild altogether. And you can say that about the Bears, you can say that about the Raiders. Do you think those moves in particular for those two teams are a sign of a bit of a rebuilding and a restructuring for them?
Well, the Geno Smith one for the Raiders makes complete sense because everybody expects them to pick Mendoza as their quarterback, picking him first overall as their quarterback for the future. So Geno Smith gone. The Max Crosby one surprised me, but Max Crosby had also demanded a trade before and said he will never step on the field as a Raider again. He told that to Tom Brady, one of the minority owners of that team. He flat out told him he never wants to step on foot on the field as a Raider again. So that one, I think this was just inevitable. Where does he go more than anything? But it sucks for that team that was a player you could have rebuilt your entire defense. You could have been building your entire defense around, but he also got really messed around. Now Brock Bowers is the one person on that team I'm like, man, I hope Mendoza's good for you because he got screwed around so hard last year. So did Matt Crosby. It's going to be like a definitely new season. I'm hoping new coaching staff there. I'm hoping for a refresh for that team. They really need it, and we'll see what it does. But for the Ravens, this is a game changer on their defense. They already had a good defense. Now they have with Max Crosby coming in, that's going to be absolutely stellar to have him just shore up their defense. And now they have an incredible offense and an incredible defense. They're going to be scary for 2026, 2027 this season. That's going to be scary.
Fair enough. Can't wait till that new season kicks off so we can start getting back into our predictions, our fantasy football, all that wonderful stuff here on the channel. Andre, as we are getting close to the top of the hour, any other topics you want to cover here quickly first with a couple minutes left to go? Nope. Rounded them up.
I got everything. And if you haven't watched Drive to Survive yet, go watch Drive to Survive. It was a great season. I really enjoyed the season, kind of learning a little bit more about the drivers. I watched the whole season last year live, so again, it hits a little less for me. But if you're interested in F1, check out Drive to Survive. It's a great way to get you into it, and then go and watch some races. There you go,
Andre. In the meantime and in between time, will you let the people know what you got coming up and where they can find you?
You can find me over on Backbreaker Media or Backbreaker Video, where I'm doing my show, The Pop Spot, with my boy AWS. We just dropped an episode this morning about Monster Pro Wrestling. I made my return to the crowd.
Nice.
The Monster Pro Wrestling for the first time since 2019, I think was the last time I was there. So it's been about 7 years since I set foot in MPW. So I went back, and it was an interesting show. There was some good, some very bad. I talk about it in the show. I was nicer about one of the matches than I feel like should have been, but I was very critical of one match, but I really didn't like one of the wrestlers in that match. I really thought he was bad. But yeah, check that out. Check my review out over at the Pop Slot. You can check that out. It's out there today, so check it out. And then upcoming within the next week or so, Pop Spot Presents will return with our newest episode featuring our interview that I'm going to be recording tonight with former UFC superstar and current independent wrestling great Mitch Clark. My friend Mitch Clark is going to come on the show. We're going to chat with him about his UFC career, his life, college wrestling, all of it, and talk about his transition into independent professional wrestling. At Monster Pro Wrestling is where he started. So we're going to chat about all of that. So check that out later this week. Pops Up Presents featuring Mitch Clark. But you can also find me right back here next weekend for the Point of View. But coming up in the next couple of weeks, I think the date, March 26th, you can find All Ed and Peggy and not me chatting the first episode of Daredevil Born Again, because I'm going to be at Mystery Wrestling that night. So I'm going to miss the first episode of that. So come check out March 26th. Marvel Talk comes back an hour before Ring Respect Radio. We're gonna be the lead-in for Ring Respect Radio. Check that out. 8 p.m. Eastern, March 26th, right before Ring Respect Radio. Before you see them, we're gonna be the opening match for the main event that is Ring Respect Radio. So come check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel Talk returns on the 26th. So, yeah.
Well, being called the main event is very, very respectful. I appreciate it. But as for where you can find me, Bobby Munson, ticker down below is going to show you all my social media, where you can find me right here on the channel, of course, every Thursday night, like Andre was talking, Ring Respect Radio. And again, the times have changed again slightly. We've been rolling at 8:05 p.m. Eastern time because we like to roll at 7 o'clock Saskatchewan time, because old guys like myself and Papa Smokes like to get things rolling at 7 o'clock. It's kind of a nice time for us. We will continue 7 o'clock Saskatchewan time, but with this shift in the times this week, that means that Ring Respect Radio goes back to 9:05 p.m. on the East Coast as of this Thursday. And this Thursday, we're taking a trip through the territories. You're going to join us for talking about some Nashville wrestling and the history of Nashville wrestling this Thursday night. I'm going to be right back here with Andre next Sunday.
My favorite version of Ring Respect Radio.
Nice. 11 a.m. next Sunday here on Point of View, and you'll be seeing me probably crying some tears if Manchester United can't get a victory in their next game, which starts off an hour before we kick off on the show here. So I will be sweating bullets as we try to get through.
Ooh,
you can also catch me
a live reaction to the loss.
Yeah, live reaction to the loss. Yeah, it's going to be bad. You can also catch me every single Saturday afternoon over at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, where I am part of the commentary team with Papa Smokes, bringing you a brand new match. And yes, we got some big news for you, because this coming Saturday, yes, we just got past the tag team title match between the Short Kings and Paralira from the Ring of Horrors. Well, guess what? Now it's time for one of the most biggest matches in the history of Prairie Pro Wrestling. The first time we ever held a steel cage matchup. It is champion Michael Allen Richard Clark versus El Asesino in one of the most violent Prairie Pro Wrestling matches in history. That is going to be available to you all this coming Saturday at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel, so make sure to check it out. And guess what? You can check out all sorts of great shows right here on OLE Podcast. Check us out on all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch. If you're watching on replay right now and you haven't done so already, take a moment to go click the subscribe button down below, give the video a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell. And hey, if you got one of these, it's a mobile phone and you're watching on a mobile phone, you get up to 3 hype points per week that you can give to specific shows, specific channels. And if you would be so kind, share some of that love our way. Go and hype some of the shows from OLE Podcast and help us get up the hype charts, find an even bigger audience so we can have more fun chatting with you, like-minded fans, each and every week on our shows. But that's going to be it for us here on Point of View this week. Until next Sunday, take care, everybody.